and welcome to another day here at my desk. My name is Jen and I make videos of stationery, journaling, planners, and all the little things in between. So today I wanted to share my current planner ecosystem with you. It's kind of funny, I had been so excited to make this video and I got so sick the past 2 weeks straight, and that just threw everything off in my life. So forgive my voice, and if there's some weird pauses, they're coughing breaks. I'm doing my best. So before I get into each planner, I wanted to give just a little bit of just some personal history because I think it's useful or interesting to see the evolution of someone's planner practice. Sometimes even if I know something they do won't work for me, it'll give me an idea for something else to try, or like an epiphany for a new idea to implement. So I started using planners since grade school. They had those spiral ones that they would give to students in the beginning of the year. Like, did we all have this planner at one point? Once this stopped, I started buying my own planners, which varied from maybe $8 to $20. Usually the horizontal weeks in a spiral, so I could have it opened, have it be able to flip it underneath so it wouldn't take, like in college especially, we had tiny desks. So it was sort of key for it to be able to flip behind itself. So I had room on my desk to actually work and study. I was never able to switch completely to a phone planner or just like a digital planner. I especially hate when I'm on the phone trying to schedule something like an appointment or meeting, and I can't even see my planner because I'm on my phone during the call. I feel like I can't see my schedule well on a phone also. I can see it better on a laptop, but I'm not getting my laptop out every single time I'm consulting my planner. I'm just sort of the person that likes to jot things down, especially for lists and notebooks. And then entered the world of Filofax and ring planners. I had been wanting one forever, but I felt like I couldn't afford it. And honestly, I thought, how much better could it be for the price difference? Turns out it's more of an investment mentality, but it perfectly combined planners and binders for my brain to be productive. I liked being able to move things around, and honestly, for me personally, I had to start that way for me to realize how I like things organized in order to be able to do bound notebooks, like bound planners. But eventually I felt like I had too much noise in my planner as I picked up interests and decided to pursue hobbies a bit more. I prefer to have just events like birthdays, appointments, due dates, etc. in my planner, like my everyday carry. It was just like there was too much going on in my planner. If it was outside of that, it would overwhelm me. So I just needed some separation in my brain, and here we are today. So this is my current planner ecosystem, which is anything where I use a calendar or schedule and specifically plan my time, as opposed to notebooks and journals, which I'm in the process of doing that video on my journaling ecosystem and also notebook collection. I think it will be in the next 2 videos. There appears to be 8 total in my planning system. If that seems like a ridiculous amount to you, I get that. 2011 version of myself would have laughed at that and found it to be overkill. But I do have ADHD, and I have a full-time job for a corporation and a couple of other income streams that I have to manage projects for. Just a lot of information. I just can't manage that in my head solo. Maybe you can. If so, you rock. Also, I wanted to point out many of them are undated. I think maybe about 3, but we'll get into that. So I only use the undated ones when I need them to help me get stuff done and sort of compartmentalize the noise in my brain. But then again, I also have like 20 to 350 tabs open on my browsers, usually less than 10 on my computers and tablets, but I have like 200 to 300 tabs open usually in my phone. And my friends like to poke fun at me for that, but I promise I need all of them. So when you think about it, I only really buy 2 planners yearly that are book bound, and that is this one, and I have a booklet in this one. So the rest I either make myself or print, or they're just inserts that I buy. But if my undated planners that I buy are completed, I will definitely replace them if I like them and they worked well for me. So to sort of simplify this for the video, I use a main planner, which is the Hobonichi Weeks, and everything else sort of supplements this, because this is already overwhelming my brain. So I'm sure it might be overwhelming on video, but I forgot to set the mood. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll set everything aside. Okay, so this is my Hobonichi Weeks. I got this cover on Etsy. It's cork. I am obsessed with it. I love this. So this is the one I use most of the time or at home because I work from home. But if I travel with it, I will use this cover. Really like the material. Hasn't gotten dirty yet, but I think it is pretty resilient. It's a nice little cover. This one is from Hobonichi. I really like this sage green color. Let's open her up. So this is the bow and tie cherry planner. I use this every day. Like if I'm not using this, it's because I'm bedridden. So I work from home for a global company, but I do occasionally go into an office, and I like to travel. Sometimes I travel for work. It's kind of rare, but everything else I showed in the beginning is pretty much a supplement to her. So I keep some stickers here and some dots. And so if you open it up, this is kind of like the inbox, or like the dashboard, I guess. I really like these little tabs because they're portable, and this is a picture of my mama. And I love this. It kind of works with it, plan with your heart, and I love Snoopy, so he cheers me up. And I just have some sticky notes just in case. I would not function without Post-its. And I just have some stickers here. I decorated this page. So I like to track steps, and I will weigh myself. I kind of did this by the number of weeks in a month, but I'll track my steps, and I'll pretty much circle the day of the week if I completed all my rings, like I have an Apple Watch. So I like to fill this in maybe like weekly. Sometimes it's so bad, like I've been sick the last 2 weeks, so I haven't been really on top of it, but like I had to fill in like all of this. If I forget to wear my Apple Watch, I'll go off of my Pikmin steps. Like it'll keep track of your steps, and it's not always accurate. Like you have to have your phone on you when you make the steps. It's still better than nothing. And I track weight. I try to do at least twice a month. This is an example of how I use the monthlies. At the start, I was really about the deco because it made me happy, and I just had an abundance of stickers. So I went kind of nuts, but I've kind of fallen off of that. So I had been decorating the months and the weeklies, but now I just sort of decorate the back when I use it for bullet journal sometimes, but I'll still put some stickers in, especially if they're like, you know, like this airplane for a flight, or just something relevant to the day. Like I did my nails on this day, so I use that sticker. I was away on vacation. Just the planner stickers I'll still use, but it's more minimal. I've transitioned to using a lot of my stickers for the journaling. So this is where I keep all my events, like appointments, trips, birthdays, etc. If I am trying to schedule something, I'll probably look here unless it's the thing I'm scheduling is the current week I'm in or the next week. Otherwise, I'm putting it in here in the monthlies. So I have this weekly chore schedule. I didn't like how I did the highlighters here, but sometimes you don't know until you highlight and you're like, well, damn. So I've been liking doing this because it's like the same every week. So that's why I don't do it in my weeklies. I don't check these off as I do them. The boxes are like when they should be done. The checked is like they are done for me. Like we have automated things like the Roomba for vacuuming. So this is the current month and I updated how I'm doing the chores every week. I just do circles now. And so you see there's like a lot less deco. It's just mostly like the little planner stickers, and I mean that's fine because this is more function. Okay, and this is an example of how I do my weeks. So if you want to screenshot for some ideas. I live in here daily. This is how it lays open on my desk, and that was key for me. And the reason I switched to this, honestly, the physical rings, because I had a personal sized rings, so this one, and I was just really wanting this side for notes, especially like this habit tracker. This was key, but also laying flat was key, and it's just very portable. So I switched to this and never looked back. Like I love the size and I love the layout. So when I set this up, I use a ruler to draw this line, and I like to use this pen. I like that it's subtle. I had been using a pencil, but I just like the way this one looks. So in here, this is like events. This is like usually on Sundays, I'll look at the monthly and I'll grab what I have planned and like put it here. The tasks usually functions kind of like a bullet journal, like a mini one, I suppose, but it's mostly just the bullet dots, a slash if I'm in the process of it or I've started it, and then an X out if it's complete, or a strike through if it's like canceled, or an arrow if I've moved it. This section I like to write in blue, so everything I'll write in mostly black. Anything like during the week that I write in here, it'll all be black, except for this right column. So this kind of functions as things that I am considering writing about later, either in my Hobonichi cousin or in my traveler's notebook, or maybe something I want to remember later, but I don't have time to journal. It could even be also just a special thing that happened that day. But if it's to journal, this has been key for me because I will forget. And this column, in general, it's just really nice to celebrate your wins, no matter how big or small they are. I think the next time I tweak this, I'm gonna move this up a little because I'm starting to consume a lot of media and most of my summer trips are over, so I'm doing a lot more reading again. So for the habit tracker, I know the like affirmations and sun aren't exactly the same thing, but they function sort of the same way for me because they make my day better if I do them. Same with social and TV. Since I work from home, I know they're not the same, but it's sort of a similar function for me. And here, the budget TN, that is actually this guy. And I like to go sort of in order, like when I wake up, I take the vitamins and meds, and the affirmations and sun. Like I tried to put these in order of the day. So that's why water and sleep is at the end, because I won't know till the next day also. Like, so say for Monday, this will be blank, but by the time I wake up Tuesday, I'll know if I get enough sleep or if I don't. But for the weekly wins, I started writing putting these down for a few years now in a pocket moleskin to encourage myself, and I thought I may as well put them in my planner, and I've been loving it. So it could be big wins or small, it doesn't matter. I wanted to be able to emphasize it, kind of like, you know, like a pat on the back. Now that it's in my planner, I love that if I go back, I could see what my weekly wins were, and that's very cool. But for media consumed, it's typically movies, TV, books, music, or podcasts. So this is from Etsy. It's just a holographic pencil board. I have this one on this side, and this is a Hobonichi one. It's very adorable. I love this. For the back pages, I've been indexing some of them. So I had an allergy exam, you know, where they stab you a bunch of times, and this was the report, so that's why I have it here, is to track. Because I don't remember all of them sometimes, I'm still figuring out what does what to me. So for my adulting log, hopefully it will be cleaner looking next year. I tried to have a separate planner for house stuff, but it just fit better in here since I'm in here all the time. And my morning routine's kind of personal, but I also have it on Notion. This morning routine, my evening routine, they are planned out in my red A5 Filofax. And so this is the bullet journal key I like to use. Task, I use mostly like a bullet also, but bullet can be note. So this is what I was saying earlier, that like I'll do a slash if it's started, and then I'll do an X if it's completed, or I'll sometimes check mark it. And I use ideas a lot. Line for if it's canceled, but so the ideas, the research, money matters, important, urgent, heart. So all of those I'll put next to the bullet. And the arrows, I mostly use migrated, and this is just what I have for the chore tracker that I kind of copy off of each month. And then the pages after that, so you'll see here I use the tilde next to it, and I will put some small ephemera here, like if I get a package or something, the stickers, but I try to put those in my Hobonichi cousin now. However, if I don't have that near me or out, I'll just put it in here for some deco. And you'll see I don't use this every single day, because especially for work, I have my own notebook for work. I will use this for things that I don't want to keep rewriting in here. And sometimes I will look here to put things here for the week. But it's just stuff that like I would like to get done, but it's more like a note. I don't need to get it done within a week from now. You know what I mean? If I'm also traveling for work, I will use these daily, because I won't have the notebook that I like to use every day at home, because it's not massive, but it would definitely add to the baggage. So sometimes I'll opt to just bring this. So if I need a lot more notes and I just need a space to be messy, I don't love being messy here because there's not too many pages. And I also want to keep this for memories, right? So I just don't want to be that messy in here, but it does get messy at times. But in my work planner, this one, I have notebooks in here to allow me to be messy, and it does have a planner in it, so I won't use both of these if I'm like on a work trip. But other than that, I'll also keep like a wish list in here, workout ideas. I have a book wish list or like a buy list. Other than that, it's just mostly bullet journaling. And then this is just a page blotter, but I thought these were cute, so I keep this back here. That's it for this girly. Oh, and I don't know if this helps anybody. I was worried about this not going through. This was my bad. I made it too short, and I had already cut it without testing it. So she's a little tight, like when I put this here. Sometimes the knot would come out, so I put this little paper clip here to prevent that. And also these I really love because this is kind of soft, but my favorite pen to use with this is the Uni Jetstream in 0.5. And look, it's Snoopy. I love this pen. It is so freaking cute. But I have other ones, like there's this one. They're all the same, they're just different designs. For the next one, it is this Traveler's Notebook, and this is the recent Love and Trip drop. I love this one. So this came from a locket. This also came, like, they were together on a necklace. So I thought these were just like perfect to use for this one. So this is mostly a notebook, but I do have a calendar in here, so I'm including it. So my friend Danny got this for me in Japan, and I love this so much. It completely went with the vibe for this too. It's perfect. It's just a little envelope. And on the other side for the card holders, I have stamps if I need them, and this was from the Love and Trip notebooks, just like the cards you can give out, but I really love the design, so I just put it here. I have little Miffy. These are the ones that I'll repurchase in a new year. So this is a monthly. I'm really enjoying this. I don't like to take more than 2 notebooks in my bag. I'll usually carry this one around, or this one, which is kind of like an extension of my wallet. But this one is very portable, but it is on the taller side. I won't carry both of these at any one time. If I know I'm gonna use this like leaving the house, especially traveling, I'll have this calendar synced with my everyday carry. I do use this, which is the dotted one, for bullet journaling at times. So I suppose that counts as a daily, but otherwise it's a notebook. And so I like to use this clip because I think it goes with the gold here. This is the pencil board I like to use. So I like to keep it in the back so the edges don't fold. That's pretty much how I use this one. Oh, I forgot to mention the dotted notebook I am using as a Zobaldoni. So that's pretty much like a less fancy commonplacing, like it has everything in there, a catch-all. I will dive into that in that future notebook collection video. The pen I like to use for this one is this Kaveco, and this is in the fine nib. So right now it's inked with like the blue cartridge. I tend to use the cartridges with this because I guess I haven't had a bad experience yet, but I trust the cartridges more than the refillables, like traveling or on a plane, just in case. So I'll pretty much have it in here when I'm traveling. And I don't know what it is, the smaller notebooks, I like a bigger nib, especially like on the go traveling. Just in this, I find my handwriting looks really good with the fine, more so than the extra fine nib. So this is the Starbucks Reserve collaboration with Traveler's Notebook in the passport size in the color Camel. This is my budget or finances planner and also my spending tracker monthly and weekly. I made my first short ever on this one. So if you've seen that, you could see that I took off the little protectors. I always have this with the pen, so I found that the pen protected it enough, and I still use the edge protectors. I mean, you saw it on my everyday carry. So the bookmark, I have like a little turtle. I love this so much. I might do it on all of mine because it's lightweight too, but the reason I haven't put it on here is because everything's gold, so I feel like it would clash, but I might end up doing it anyway because it just makes me happy. So in that short, I had dreams of using this as a wallet, and I tried, but I tend to like smaller wallets. Like I just have a card wallet at all times. I went back to that one as my wallet, and I put all the wallet stuff that I had in here in this pocket Hobonichi Filofax. This is more for when I'm traveling because I can put my passport here and it fit perfectly. Well, I also liked that I could put cash here, so it was just kind of perfect. So this is just everything I don't want to carry around all the time. So I also love this. I'm very tactile as a person. I don't know if that's my flavor of ADHD. I love this suede-like texture of the camel color, so I wanted to kind of preserve it as much as I can, in the sense that I'm not in a hurry to have this one patina because I'm still enjoying the texture. So I decided to leave this at home, which is another reason why I decided not to use it as my wallet. I try to use this every day, but if not, I try to reach for it a minimum of 1 to 2 times weekly. So this setup, I will keep receipts here that I need to process. And here I have some month stickers, and you'll see how I use those. Here I have the backup stickers. I keep this insert in here mostly for vibes. It's so beautiful, and I do put stickers in here because it's just, it holds the stickers, but mostly the printable pictures with a sticky backing. If I print multiples of them, but I don't have a use for all of them, like if I print 3, then I'll just put them in here. So like I printed several of these. This is Sasha, and I used 2 of them, so this third one I don't have a use for yet, but it's also kind of like an album, right? So that's how I'm using this. And this is where I put the receipts that were in the front pocket. And so this insert is from Serica Studio. I love this. This sticker, both of these stickers are also from Serica Studio. I'm showing you August, so I'm not just giving you all my financial details. So this setup inspo is from Tori on Paper. I love her videos. She's one of my favorites on YouTube. I did have some tweaks that just worked for my brain and my life, and I'll show you that. But this page is pretty much the same. I do kind of decorate this like minimally, but I think it's kind of cute. So these calendars I make. This one's essentially the same as well. So this is where I use the small stickers until I run out. Then I'll probably end up writing it in, or maybe I'll find some more of the teeny stickers. So if you haven't seen her video on this, I'll just run through it really quickly. So I actually, when I'm out and about, after I make a purchase, I like to write in here what they are. I'll do this sort of like daily, and whatever is here, I will translate here. So I will put the dollar amount in whatever color it is. I will put in words what it is on the corresponding day. This helps with my low buy challenge because, for example, if I didn't purchase anything outside of my budget, then I will X out the day. So this is actually where I switched it up a little. It's mostly the same, but I think she had it where it was the same on each page, except for this page was budget and this page was actual. It was a little hard for me to see that in my head going back to back. And I'm like, what was the budget? And I don't know, it was not working for me. I tried it like for 2 months, but this worked better for me. So I just write in the actual underneath, and if it's under budget, I'll write down the amount in blue for week 1 of the month. And if it's over budget, I'll write it in red, and then I'll total them. So it's pretty much the same function, but it's a different layout essentially. And then I'll have like the differences underneath here. This setup has been working well for me, and if I do well on my low buy challenge, then I will treat myself by getting some stationery or journaling item that I've been really wanting. Not only does it keep my spending in check, it keeps my collection in check, so it's really been helpful. And this is just a random blank notebook. So I can't do math in my head, I have to do it on paper. Like, I will use a calculator, but I need to see it laid out. And this is a pencil board I got from Etsy. It was very cheap, and I kind of put some stickers on it to like jazz it up, but I also keep it in the back to help keep this from creasing. And This is the pen I like to use with it. So it's an Uni Jetstream 3 in 0.38. Because this notebook's so teeny, and I want to say this is like 3mm grid. It's teeny, but I love writing small, so this pen is ideal. Whenever I check it off from my everyday carry, I'm usually using it in tandem with this Excel spreadsheet that I've built for my finances. So pretty much if I'm budgeting, I will mark that off in my habit tracker in my EDC. Okay, and we truck onward to my work planner, and I love this thing. It's the cheapest out of all of them because I guess it's not branded, and so it's from Amazon. It's in a B6 size. I want to say the brand is like Newister, and I'm really happy with the quality. It's like a thick leather, and I like the stitching. It was unfinished on the edges, like it had raw edges though, and I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I like finished edges. So I just burnish this with beeswax, and that's helped for me. I will typically do that for anything that's unfinished because I can and I like it better. So I don't have a charm here because I don't want to jingle in case I have this in a meeting, or if I'm like on a work trip and I have this, I don't want it jingling. But I put a tree here because I think of it as growth in my career, and it's also kind of tall. So I had actually been eyeing a Paper Republic because I have one and I love this, but I just really wanted a B6 for work. It's the perfect size for me for work, and I didn't want to spend like $200 on a portfolio. That was like, I think the closest would have been an A5 or like an XL or something. So I decided, what the heck, I'll just go with this, and I'm so glad I did. But like, this is the widest spine out of all of my traveler's notebooks, or like that style of notebook. And so that was the other reason I went with this big charm, because when it lays, it still doesn't hit the table, like it doesn't jingle. That's why I put this heart here, because it also doesn't jingle, and it's just, I don't know, I think it's cute. That's what matters. And this is already aging pretty well. It feels very good too. It's like strangely soft, but it's like a thick leather. So you'll see I have stickers here, I have some post-its here, and these, I got these at a Korean gift shop. I'm not sure if they are specifically sold as a B6 size, and I haven't measured them, but I had them lying around, like they were cute, so I got them, and they were affordable. They fit, so I put them in here. This one, I'm keeping work notes in here. These are just important work notes that I like to have on me. And this is just random notes. Like, I have permission to be messy in here. You know, if I need to take notes on a meeting, that's this one. And so this is the Wonderland 22 undated B6 planner, and it has the stacked weekends. So I just put a postcard from my Tahoe trip in here. And so I have a cover on here, which is nice because it makes it closer to the size of the notebook. And before I got this leather cover, I had this. So when you open it up, so this is sort of a dashboard as well. Like, I just have some post-its, like in case I need them. Okay, so I only use this when I need to. I don't like for work to use something that has dates, because I don't like seeing the unused weeks go by, because sometimes at work I don't need to time block. I just use my Outlook calendar because that already has all of my meetings there. I'm already on my computer, so I can see my week at a glance. But sometimes I just need to write it out when I'm time blocking and I'm super busy. This just helps extremely. And this I actually made, it's just thick paper, so I just pasted two of them together to make like a pencil board for it, because The page is actually kind of thin, and I really enjoy this paper, and I like this pen on this paper because it doesn't bleed through. I'm finding a lot of the inky pens are all bleeding through. So this is a Pilot Super Grip G3 in 0.7. So it's like I believe it's ballpoint. So another thing I really love about this planner for work is the stacked weekends was just key for me because I don't work on weekends. So I sometimes just put notes here, like my running to-do list for the week. So anyway, I like to use this as like to do now and to do later, and it works really well for me. There's these back pages, which I would use if I didn't have these front notebooks. If this is the only thing I bring with me when I'm traveling for work or traveling in general, then I would use these pages as bullet journaling or to schedule my time. But usually I tend to schedule my time on this side and then have the bullet journal on this side. So I would say it takes me about 2 to 3 years to use this up. So I would buy one of these undated ones like every 2 to 3 years once it's used up. I'm really happy with the quality of this. I wish more of my traveler's notebooks had individual strings, but then I guess it would be thicker, and I'm very happy I got this over the Paper Republic. I love Paper Republic, but $200 just didn't fit what I needed this for. And maybe eventually I'll end up getting one, but this is working great and perfect for work. Okay, so now what we have next is my Turquoise Personal Rings Filofax. So this is my goal setting and tracking planner. Sometimes I will go over a week not using it though, which I don't want, but you know, life happens. For a deep dive into this one, check out my last video. I'll put it up in the cards. So the only thing I've changed since then, I found this to-do post-it. I freaking love it. So fits perfectly here and it's the right size. But I've also added the month on 2 page insert back. So originally I had this where the right section was and it said calendar, but I had decided to use the monthly in my Hobonichi Techo A6, but I recently got a Hobonichi cousin because it was on sale. You know, it's July, so it was on sale, and I don't know, I've seen so much content on it, and I've been really enjoying how it feels to write in my fountain pens. So I got it, and turns out I love it. I hadn't tried it before because I really thought it was like way too much. Like it kind of hit my anxiety because it's just a lot to fill each day. And I'll talk more about that when I do my journaling ecosystem. But all that to say, I no longer used that calendar, so I brought this one back. So I will track the full and new moons for tarot readings and just rituals for good vibes. And I will track filming and editing for videos, but those are the main updates for this planner. Okay, so next up is this Teal pocket rings by Filofax. So this is my seasonal / yearly planning or hobby planner. I probably reach for this every other week, maybe more if I need to jot down project ideas or if I am bored a lot during the week, then this is sort of my, hey, do something for yourself. Or even if I'm feeling low, I will reach for this to distract myself with things that I love to do, and it really helps. So for an in-depth look at how I have this organized, I have made a video and I'll link it up in the cards here. And the pen I like to use is the Uni Jetstream, and this is in 0.38. I tend to like the 0.38 for the pocket Filofaxes because the writing space is very small. Okay, next we have my A5 Filofax, and this is my routine and habits planner. So here's a look inside. For the purposes of this video, I just wanted to share that I use this to plan my routines and habits. I typically use this on Sundays. I use it to update my Notion. That's what this printout is from my Notion. But it's easier to just, it works better than me having to redraw a schedule like 47 times every time I need to implement some tweaks. But if you wanted to see more information on how I use this planner, that is in the same video as my pocket Filofax. And the pen I like to use for this one is the Papermate Inkjoy Gel in 0.7. The last one is this planner I got from Amazon. It's called the Trees Planner. It's a non-dated daily planner, and I just put one of my stickers on it. And so it looks like this. I really enjoy writing in here because the paper is really absorbent. I like to use a really juicy pen. So I have this one, which is the Rytec 0.5. This one, which is the Pentel Flowtune in 0.4, a Joy Top, and I want to say this is 0.5, it could be 0.7, but this one's really juicy. This is pretty much what it looks like, and I just used a Pentel, like one of these. I just used the grip. It was kind of hard to squeeze on here, but it's just more comfortable, especially for like long writing sessions. Like if I'm doing podcast notes or something, I like to use it with the grip. So I like to use this on Sundays or on days where I have to get a lot done in a day, so I need a time block. It really helps the way my brain works, because if you think about it, there's only so much time in a day. So if you have to get things done, like a lot of things, then you should schedule those things. And I know it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. This is the best layout that I've seen for the dailies. If you've seen something similar, let me know in the comments. It's smaller than a letter sheet, but it's still pretty big. And I just wish it was smaller. B6 would be ideal, but like even an A5 would be cool. And I don't actually love this numbering because, I mean, I would love to be that early riser that gets up at 6 a.m., but that is not me. Maybe as I'm getting older, I will switch, but I am a night owl. I actually will white out this. And I have this washi tape from Delphonics that I love right now. So I'll show you an example. So I will white out the times and I'll put the washi tape over it. Like, I got this on a whim for this specific use and it fit. Isn't this so satisfying? I love when that happens. It doesn't always, obviously. The only gripe I have is I'm not used to military time, so I still like the way it looks. But see, that is meant to be. The thing about this one, I don't think I will be repurchasing it once I'm finished with it. I got a lot to go, but I don't want to waste it because it's perfectly usable. I don't know what it is, but it's just super satisfying to write with. For these 3 pens, because otherwise the paper is not ideal. It's almost like because it absorbs a lot, only these super inky pens work well. I think these are all gel pens. Anyway, my main complaint is the size. I like this layout. That's something for future gen, I suppose. So we'll table that. So I just wanted to wrap up this video by having a sort of disclaimer. To me, so I think of planners and notebooks/journals as like separate buckets, just to simplify it so I could show you in videos. Although you'll see that I do have notebooks in many of my planners. So I'm not trying to overcomplicate it, just to acknowledge there can be a rabbit hole there. I mean, most analog planners are a type of notebook, and not all notebooks are planners. So, I mean, like, take the term Techo Kaigi, which literally means notebook meeting or planner meeting. Like the practice of reviewing and reflecting on one's use of planners, notebooks, and journaling systems. So it's all together. And I totally get that. but I like to separate them because they function sort of separately, but also together, if that makes sense. I mean, you even bring in the word journal, which is a daily record of news and events of a personal nature, or like a diary. And I think of a journal as a place for writing, like kind of like long form, not exactly like planning my time, even though you can kind of recount how you used your time in the day. However, my dad refers to his planner as his journal. So it's not like there's really a right or wrong here. That's kind of the fun part, right? That's kind of my whole point. I love seeing planner and journal ecosystems and what works for others. And, you know, we all have systems that work for us, or maybe we want to add on to our systems. So all this to say, I'm just setting arbitrary categories for the sake of making videos and how I see it to sort of explain my system. So I'm using the word planners for the notebooks I use to plan or track my time in any way. So they are to track my time and to be more efficient. Keep in mind that I'm sharing a system that works for me, my ADHD, and my many interests. If this seems like inefficient for you or even overwhelming, and you have a system that's working great, then it probably is. I don't want you to think that you need more planners to be more efficient unless what you have is not enough. Because I mean, at some point the maintenance will dip into your time, and that doesn't make any sense, right? But if you're looking to better organize your time and projects, and I hope this video helped you. Thank you so much for spending a part of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value from it. So until the next one, happy planning.